Before we go further to talk about it, you had also a very interesting life before you started that particular journey.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't we talk a little bit about your background?
We have
Okay.
time? Look, even though I'm 34, which is like old or young, we can all
I cannot
decide.
ask you for the age.
I'm open about it. I just need to deal with that, you know. It's my healing procedure to talk about that. So even though I'm 34, I feel like I lived like 5 different lives already. So my first life was I was a ballerina. So I graduated as a classical ballet dancer.
How many years were you?
Wow. I started to dance when I think as soon as I started to be able to walk. But professionally, I went to the dance academy in Hungary when I was 9, and I graduated when I was 18. Then I moved to Switzerland, and I danced in the opera house in Zurich for 2.5 years.
Wow, very interesting,
Yes.
impressive.
And I had the chance, you know, I'm the first generation after basically the communist era. I'm the first generation who has the privilege to travel and to speak English, you know. So like growing up, I heard that my parents had a dream just to go till Austria at least, you know. They were not allowed to go outside of Hungary, and they were forced to speak Russian or whatever, like to study Russian. And so for me, this privilege came with ballet very early, that when I was 14, I was already sent abroad, and I was just so mesmerized, like, oh my God, I can travel. And it was just, at 14, without mobile phone, without GPS and Google Map and whatsoever, I was sent to Madrid, and I spent there 5 weeks. Can you imagine?
Interestingly enough, the way you talk is something that you had to put a lot of effort into it,
Yes.
but at the same time it's something that you loved. Why did you give it up?
I always say, you know, my soul broke. So it would be easier to say, oh, I twisted my ankle or something, but that did not happen. It's something inside. I always had this dual feeling that ballet dancers are not considered smart, right? So it's always like there is a certain pejorative towards dancers. And I always felt that I also want to do something with my brain. So even though I was talented and I had great successes in dance, I just felt something was missing. Plus, it was an extremely competitive world. So you don't really have friends, and you feel like in a prison. The directors of the company treat you like subjects, you know, so they don't know your name. They just come into the studio and they say, oh, you need to lose weight. Oh, you are not good enough, you know. So when you grow up like this, I always had this rebel me inside me that, can you respect me as a human being? Can you talk to me normally? You know, so eventually I could not put up more with this.